after
Because
all that's going on here.
occasionally we're around each other too much, and we get on each other's nerves.
I'm
and
gonna argue with you there.
Yeah, and we just have to take a break.
So now he's saying that get on his nerves.
Okay, well. Hey everybody, welcome to the Voice of the Radical Center. My name is Jonathan Langley, joined as ever by
Jacque Nowak.
And we are broadcasting from the illustrious Voice of the Radical Center studios in beautiful sunny downtown Austin, Texas, where we actually do have a fully equipped now. When I say studio, we have cameras, we have lights.
All of the little perks.
We have the perks and
of the business.
We have machines that do all the switching, and it's more than I can handle.
Yes, on overload, technology overload.
We are on technology overload, and I just want to say thank you again, because we have, even though we did a show last week, we did take some time off over Christmas.
We did, a long time.
Nice. Because we're getting ready for the Amazon show.
Right.
And we have other things going on, and it was the holidays, and it just felt like the time to take a break.
Right, and we needed a break. Sometimes you have to reboot after all that's going on here.
Occasionally we're around each other too much, and we get on each other's nerves. And
argue with you there?
Yeah, and we just have to take a break.
So now he's saying that get on his nerves.
Okay, well, anyway. So I want to thank you for joining us today, and if you haven't seen us before, the show really is about, is anybody doing anything for the average working man or woman in D.C.? And Republicans and Democrats, and I'll also say this, that we're going to talk about impeachment, because I'm not sure how that fits into taking care of everyday Americans. We're going to talk about the Democratic Party.
Yeah, we've got 1 week to Iowa.
1 week to Iowa, and anything else that crops up.
Absolutely.
Okay, so
and you never know what that might be.
Well, I'm going to. I'm allowed, right? We've agreed. I'm allowed at least 5 minutes to talk about the Wall Street Journal.
Go for it.
Op-ed page.
Yes. What do you have?
Well, let me just make it very clear. I subscribe to the Wall Street Journal.
Okay.
And I subscribe to lots of newspapers. And I'm not like Sarah Palin. Remember when Sarah Palin said she didn't like when a journalist...
Quite memorable, yes.
The journalist had the audacity to ask her what she read, and she couldn't name one newspaper. I can name
She just says all of them.
All of them. Well, I can name at least 10 that I read on a regular basis. Some of those I'll point out from the UK. But what upsets me about the Wall Street Journal is not their reporting. They've done great. You and I have spoken about this before. They've done great reporting on the Boeing 737 MAX.
Okay, so what's your issue?
My issue is healthcare. They have to pick numbers that focus on healthcare in the United States that make their political case. They don't make the case for better health.
What political case is the Wall Street Journal making?
Obamacare is terrible.
Oh, okay. So they're not fans.
No,
okay.
My God, no. We don't need any government interference. The fact that drug prices are high is not the fault of the poor defenseless drug companies. It's because of all the money they spend on research.
Okay.
We've gone through this before.
I don't know if that's necessarily the case that they would make, but go ahead.
No, I subscribe to it. They make that case.
Okay, good to know.
So the couple of things that got my attention, all right? And that is, so this is from January the 10th, 2020. Here it is. If you're watching on your YouTube or portable device, if you're not, it's January the 10th, 2020, and it talks about very legitimate. If you're sick, where would be the best place to have cancer? And I've never argued this point. That's
just a weird.
It's what it says.
I know, but
it's what it says.
Where you want to get cancer? Okay.
Well, the title is "Where Do You Want to Get Cancer?" or "Where You Want to Get Cancer," meaning you have a much better chance of surviving.
Your location.
If you live in the United States. And it basically goes on to say, and I'll keep it very brief, that if you live in the United Kingdom or France, and you have cancers like breast cancer, brain cancer, horrible things, essentially you have rough numbers, I'm just rounding it off, don't write to me because I'm exaggerating, I'm not, you have a 20% better chance of survival in the United States than you do in other countries, right?
And why do you suppose that is?
Because the United States spends disproportionate amount of money.
So they don't have the same medicines we have?
Yes, they do.
I know. So I'm trying to figure it out. So is it because just our whole healthcare system overall takes you under their wing and makes sure you get treatment? I mean, why would that, if they've got the same medicines, why are our results better?
Well, some of the registration, some of the medications, for example, like Herceptin, weren't approved which is a life-saving cancer drug, weren't approved in the United Kingdom, for example, until later.
So they have their version of the FDA that's blocking certain
yes.
things.
And they also view it, to some extent, from the point of view of a cost-value basis.
Yeah.
But insurance
and
companies,
some insurance companies do that.
Insurance companies do that too. So, but regardless, United States, if you get cancer, this is the place to be. No question, no ifs, ands, or buts. I'm not belaboring the point.
Absolutely.
However, where I belabor the point is when they're bragging about it and using it as a political cudgel, basically saying that if you want to have good health care, don't look at the UK or don't look at France or Germany, which is the countries they look at in this op-ed. But here's my point in all this.
Oh, good. There's a point.
I'm getting there. That was mean. That was below the belt. My God.
No,
my point in bringing
you ramble.
My point in bringing all this up is what they never talk about in the Wall Street Journal is how if you have basically any other disease, diabetes, life expectancy, which is not a disease, but in a way it is because diseases can kill you, and so on, your survival rate in the United Kingdom, in every measure, and it's not even the best in Europe, is better than the United States. But they never talk about that. They always point out cancer is the best and I'm not arguing that.
Right.
But if you have diabetes, your survival rate in the UK is much better than here. If you have, even if you have a heart attack in the UK, your survival rate is better than here. So my point of bringing this up is they always focus on the one thing, which is great, but not everybody gets cancer. Right. But everybody gets a combination of all the others at some point.
Yeah.
And so it is a. I just wanted to bring this up because they just. I'm going to tweet. You should be proud of me. I'm going to tweet about this.
Okay, good.
Because I will point out that Jackie's tried to teach me social media stuff.
A few little
things.
Because I'm not even going to claim to be the best at that.
No. Okay, so I'm just bringing it up for that.
Okay, good.
Okay, one more,
all right,
and I'll shut up a bit.
Got?
So this is also from January the 3rd, 2020. I've been keeping these around because we haven't done the show. This is the problem. Okay?
No, I appreciate it.
So this is from Bobby Jindal, who was Louisiana governor, and I think during his time there, basically
Republican,
everything went down. He talks about voters don't want the left's radical plans, but they may settle for them if the right doesn't offer alternatives. And this is his words.
Well, I think he brings up a good point because we have not heard what the alternative is.
No, they haven't offered one. No.
Obamacare, and you don't want Medicare for all. What do you want?
Right, exactly. And
so he's bringing up a very
and
valid point.
It was the Democrats who bought in. You couldn't be denied for pre-existing conditions.
Right.
So
I'm not a big fan of his. But
I'm not either.
I'm going to point out that he's bringing up something they need to start paying attention to.
Well, let's say a prime example. If you have cancer, let's pick the survival rates for cancer. If you have cancer in this country, prior to Obamacare, and you went out and got health insurance, they would turn you down because you had cancer previously.
Absolutely.
So hey, let's not get too excited. Anyway, it goes on. This is the part that got me.
Okay.
Democrats are pushing policies that primarily aim to expand coverage. Oh my God, expand coverage. God forbid.
Yeah.
Expand coverage and shift costs to taxpayers. I'm going to make the point here. We're already paying.
Yes,
we're already paying.
I'm going to say something that's going to shock you.
Oh, God. Again?
About the Democrats.
Yeah.
Because right now, you've given me the perfect segue to start talking about Bernie. He's up in the polls. We've got 1 week to Iowa.
Yeah.
And I want to tell you about his Medicare for All plan.
Well, this is great. So I'm going to segue your segue. No, hold on. Let me just do this very quickly.
Yes.
This is Wall Street Journal again. I do read. Unlike Mrs. Palin.
Okay.
That was a low blow, wasn't it? Because that was when did she run?
That was a long time
2008.
ago. She's probably changed her ways.
I've got to move on since then.
Yeah.
Just to put it in perspective, and I know we're going to do a whole show on healthcare with Amazon and everything, and get experts on who actually know what they're talking about. In '98, what do you think the average? Well, I'll give you the answer. It was $80 billion was spent annually on prescription drugs.
Okay.
In 1988. It goes up to 2018. What do you think it was in 2018?
Double.
No, keep going.
Triple.
Okay, so it's actually 4 times.
Okay,
so
I would have gotten there.
I wanted to speed things along. $340 billion in 2018 in prescription drugs, a 4x increase.
Yeah.
And it's not just because more people are covered. It's because the average, the whole article's in here.
Prescriptions have
skyrocketed.
Yeah.
Insulin,
and because the advertising for them has skyrocketed too. And the popular drugs that get, carried on the nightly news.
Yes.
Those prices have escalated.
Okay, so given, I think that we can all agree, I think anyone would not argue this point, that the United States more per GDP, per head count, on healthcare than any other country on the world. Per head count. People, I had this argument with friends of mine. Oh, it's because there's more people in America. No, I'm talking about per head count, per individual. We spend twice as much as any other major Western country for worse results, except for cancer.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
So that's all the Wall Street Journal is telling you. Hey, bravo, they're doing a great job here on cancer.
And look how, but then they,
but if you, I mean,
no, here's the disingenuous part about what they say.
Because they didn't say, hey, if you've got diabetes, don't get.
If you got diabetes, don't be in America, right? Or if you have a heart attack, don't be in America. And they have to compare it to the United Kingdom or France because they have socialized medicine. I mean, well, God.
Hey, okay, so you brought me to that segue again.
Yes, go ahead. So now I'm setting you up with Bernie.
We will have that as well. There are polls saying that not only is Bernie up in Iowa, that Bernie's the one that can beat Trump. And so
why is Bernie? Why do you think Bernie's first?
I think
ahead of Biden and those and Klobuchar and
I feel
Warren.
like Biden's hiding. He doesn't want to get confronted. I mean, he may just be on the ground in Iowa, but but also the media affects everything, and they're not showing him, right? Mm-hmm. So Bernie's out there. He's genuine. I mean, we all know who Bernie is, right?
Do you think he's genuine?
I do.
Really?
He's passionate. He's dedicated his entire life from a young man to bringing equality to people. I feel like that's his.
He's actually, this is not an issue for me, but he's actually the same age as Biden, right? They're both like late 70s?
I think they're like 79.
Okay,
he might have had a birthday, I could just heard.
Does that bother you? That he's
79?
Yeah.
I hate to be an ageist.
Yeah, you can be an ageist.
It's not, if his policies are good, it doesn't really
basically,
matter,
if he's 79 now, by the time he's elected, he could be 84 by the time he runs again. Or hands it off.
If he had a second term.
Yes.
That's a little troubling, especially because in America, you were just talking about it. What are the statistics for American men? The average life expectancy is 70-something.
78.
Yeah.
Well, but he's a wealthy American, so he's on the other side of the curve.
And not only, the president of the United States is going to have tremendous health care.
Right. So okay, I got you off topic. So tell me. Because we like to focus on real Americans here, and seriously, this is absolutely true. I mean, why? The reason I brought up the Wall Street Journal was simply to show how disingenuous they are. I mean, I could go through as we go on here with the show in the next year. Every time they bring something up that pisses me off, I will be bringing it in. So let me rephrase that. Not pisses me off. Is disingenuous. Trying to make a point, a political point. When you should just be saying, look how great we are, but they have to compare it to everybody else because they're socialized medicine. Why do you think Bernie's doing so well? Then you brought up Bernie. Why is he saying he can beat Trump?
Well, I think the polls are saying he can.
Okay, so why is that?
I think he is ready. They don't want the status quo. Apparently, they want to shake things up, and Bernie's a disruptor, just like Trump is a disruptor. So, I think that. A person who would vote for Trump, or maybe they're not satisfied with Trump, but would actually move to the Bernie camp because they don't want the status quo. They don't want the political elite telling them what to do. They want somebody who's going to come in and tear down the system.
But the trouble is, he says things like, now correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
Didn't he say we're going to get rid of all the college debt? Or was that Warren?
That's Elizabeth Warren.
Okay.
I think he might be in that camp. That's the one area that I actually didn't. So I want to tell you about his Medicare for All plan.
Tell us about his Medicare for All.
Because I think this would upset the average person. He is in the Medicare for All, including immigrants, illegal.
So let me ask you this question. Here's the thing. I think a lot of people, if they understood Medicare for All, if they wanted to be in it or not, but still have their private policies, which I'm going to ask you if he believes in that part. But when he says illegal immigrants can get it, for a lot of people, that's a step too far. Why even say that? Why even say
Well, and
that?
so after doing a little bit of research on what he
And
stands
look at you
for,
with all your notes and
I
everything. It's
know.
like, my goodness me. It's
Um,
unbelievable.
after checking into what he stands for,
Yeah.
I kind of get why the Republicans have coined the phrase open borders. I'm like, nobody is for open borders. Democrats don't believe in this. And then I read all of Bernie's stuff, and it kind of sounds like an open border.
Okay, so
I mean,
what?
he wants to, there's a lot of stuff.
Okay.
And it is transformative. And 10 years ago, when you talk about having a global economy and it won't matter where people live, but it does matter.
It does matter a lot.
It does matter.
Yeah.
So basically, his policy plan is to first and foremost grant amnesty to the people who are here, which I'm not necessarily opposed to.
Actually,
if you've
yeah,
been here I know Reagan did
I
it,
think
right?
Reagan did it, and he said if you've been here for this length of time,
Mm-hmm.
or since, yeah, and you don't have a criminal record,
Mm-hmm.
rather than have these people living under the table, let's get them paying taxes
Right.
and make them part of the economy. I think most people agree with that.
Right. And then expand DACA, the
Yes.
childhood arrivals,
Yes.
which I don't have a problem with that either. And I think most people feel like, yeah, if you've been here since you were 3 years old, what are we going to do? Ship you back to Guatemala? You might not even speak Spanish.
Oh yes.
I mean, that's
think
an insane
It is. It is.
proposition, right? And so I think most people go with that. So I'm on board.
Okay.
Those things sound completely reasonable. The two things that bothered me, the last one was and I don't even know if it's the right thing or the wrong thing because I don't know enough about it. But the thought of he wants to just dismantle ICE, no longer have an immigration.
Oh, Bernie does.
An office of immigration like control,
Okay.
because that's basically what
Yeah.
ICE does, right? They're the arm of the branch
Mm-hmm.
that goes and enforces the actions to get rid of
Yeah. Yeah.
the illegal people. So he wants to get rid of that in its entirety. He wants to get rid of Border Patrol in its entirety.
Wait a minute. Bernie's saying
The
he wants
Office of Border Patrol.
meaning he wants to get rid of the office and have no people patrolling the border, or he's just saying he wants to reform what he thinks is
He
something
wants
that.
to get rid of it.
And what would he
And
replace it with?
He's not necessarily saying that he.
And
would
why does he want to get
replace
rid of it then?
Well, I think let me go to that. So basically, he wants to. He's not talking about immigration in the same way that we have been doing immigration, right? He wants to allow people, all humans, to have the standard of living that we have.
Yeah,
And-
but is he
Yeah.
saying he wants to allow people to come across the border? He's not saying that. He's not
I-
saying
that's
open
what
border.
I got out of it.
No
yes.
way, really?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that's not going to fly. No one wants that.
No.
I don't want that. Who would? See, this is my point. Don't you think he's gone a bridge too far?
Well,
Jackie?
that's what I'm saying. That's
It's
why I
like-
wanted to talk about it.
Because it's like, how can you be taking? Okay, explain this to me. Why is he number one in Iowa? That's the part I don't get. Ahead of Biden. I mean,
There's a lot of things, whether it's racial justice, criminal justice, free and fair elections,
Mm-hmm.
that he can really get people on board with, and even the reasonable immigration things. I'm not saying
you mean
that
free and
he's
fair elections in those other countries, not in our country, or does he want to reform the electoral college or something? Is that what he wants to do?
that I couldn't
Okay,
I couldn't
okay,
address
that's
that.
fine, okay.
But he's a disruptor.
Yeah.
And that appeals to people. But I also think he's sort of that fatherly, grandfatherly figure that
think?
wants to take you under his wing and just
He comes
help take
across
care
like
of
a
you.
mad professor to me.
Yeah, I could see that part too.
With the sticking out gray hair and waving his arms around like this, and going crazy.
Yes, but he's pretty consistent, and he'll stand up for what's
So here's a question:
right
though.
and
Why,
what's
why
wrong.
would you, if I was him or his advisors, why would you say we're going to get rid of all college debt? Have a reform process where you can go to college and you pay less money, and there's limits on what the interest rates are, whatever it might be. But to say we're going to get rid of all this
I
debt,
don't know. I think that's Elizabeth Warren saying that.
Oh,
to
okay, he didn't-
clarify.
that was- okay,
He's not
you're right.
saying that. He is for college for all, whether it's just like the high school system where we pay for people to go to high school. That used to not be a thing, right? So I think he's for college for all, but I don't think he's for
You know who I am? I think if they all focused on healthcare and forgot the college thing and we'll keep it really simple, healthcare.
Yeah.
Everybody should know the American healthcare system is broken.
Right.
We're paying too much for worse results. Whether or not you believe in private health insurance, Medicaid for all, or a combination of the two, we can all agree that the American healthcare system isn't working.
And it hasn't been
for a lot of people.
40 years,
right.
50 years.
Exactly.
People wanted Medicare for all back in the 1920s.
Did they?
Yes, they did.
Okay. So
And then somebody coined the phrase socialized medicine.
Well,
and
that was brought up. I think that, yes, you are right. Someone
Yes,
did call it up with socialized medicine. I have a counter to that, though. I just call it common sense medicine. It's common sense healthcare. Because if you're paying twice as much for worse results, how many more years do I need to go by without going, I need to think about trying to fix it?
So I think that the problem with giving or saying that you're giving illegal immigrants insurance, which the truth is that probably works out less expensively for us as Americans.
But it's
because
tone deaf.
If there's if something happens in somebody's family, they're going to go to the emergency room and we don't turn them away, and that's a much more
We end up paying for
way
it through
to live.
some form
right,
or other.
so it's more expensive.
Yeah.
However, tone deaf is the problem because the number one issue that got Donald Trump elected is what?
Immigration.
Immigration. Yeah. And I think that, and people want it all right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
We want to reform immigration, and like you said, maybe if we just focused on healthcare.
Yeah, why boil the ocean?
But there's people going, well, this is the time. If we don't do it now, I mean, even with Obama, why have political clout if you can't do it all? Trump's doing it all.
But Trump focused on one thing pretty much, though, during his election: immigration, build the wall. Mm-hmm. If the Democrats came along and said healthcare, and here's how we're going to make it, and we're not going to...
It would be a smarter approach.
It would be a smarter approach than boiling the ocean. Okay, do you feel better? Because I was allowed to get things off my chest, talking about Wall Street Journal. I
didn't. It's not that. I just wanted to inform you.
So were you... So you are our resident nerd.
Yes.
I just want to make it very clear to everybody. So Jacque is the one that if there's a Democratic debate, or any debate for that matter, Jacque will actually not just watch it live. You'll DVR it.
Well,
so you can watch it again.
Everybody's saying.
So you can watch it again.
There's still 12 people in the election.
No.
How are you...
Are there really 12 people still in it?
There's still 12 people.
Oh, my God. What do you think of Bloomberg and all the money?
Yeah, he's still in it. And
is he going to make the debate?
Oh, not the next debate.
No, I didn't
but
think so.
if he makes it, he's going to jump in, I guess, at North Carolina or something like that, right? So I guess it'll depend on his numbers. He says he will support whatever candidate if it's not him.
He's going to spend $1 billion, he said.
Yeah.
And he's got, unlike Trump, he has the money.
But people have always said about America, I don't know if it's every country, that are they buying the election?
To some extent.
To some extent. Was it the Kennedys? Did they buy the election?
Yeah.
Was it,
they used to have this thing in the UK.
Okay.
Way back in like the 1700s, something called a rotten borough. And a borough is clearly like a district, right? So a rotten borough was when a politician, usually a wealthy businessman, who didn't even live, quote, in the borough, in the district, whatever you want to call it, constituency, he would literally run as he would buy his way in, be the only candidate, and then pay people to vote for him.
Oh.
So that's why it's called a rotten borough.
But if you're the only candidate, you don't need the votes.
Well, because he had to have some votes.
Oh,
he had to go in with zero. He had to have some people vote. That's called a rotten borough. So there you just learned something. Rotten borough.
Lovely.
And to some extent, you could argue that with the redistricting in the United States,
we have some rotten boroughs.
Gerrymandering, and we have some rotten boroughs too. So we're going to do a whole show. We're going to do an Amazon show on that too.
And title it Rotten Boroughs.
Yes.
There you go.
Rotten Borough. Isn't that a great name?
American Rotten Boroughs.
American Rotten Boroughs. Okay, so we've talked about we boiled the ocean a bit. Healthcare.
Boiled the ocean.
Well, healthcare. We talked about the Wall Street Journal and the fact that we pay more in this country than anybody for worse results. By the way, I spoke to a friend of mine on the phone.
Okay.
The other week in New York. And just in passing, he said to I brought this up, and he then dropped off the phone, and I thought, I've made him mad. He didn't hang up. He said goodbye quickly, but it turned out he had other things to do because I brought up this life expectancy, child mortality thing. Anyway, he rang me up the other week. This is 2 weeks ago. A week ago, he rang me up and said, Jonathan, I heard what you said, and I didn't believe you, but I went and looked it up. He said it's absolutely right.
Yeah.
So we should all be ashamed of that. Okay, so
yes, we are.
So let's talk about. We have to do the impeachment thing.
Yes, let's get to it. There's lots of information.
So give me your take on it, because as we record this show today, the Lev, what's the guy's name?
Lev Parnas.
Lev Parnas. I always get his name wrong. Lev. I got my notes, but I can't read my own writing. This is the trouble with being left-handed. Your handwriting's terrible. At least mine is.
I knew, and many other issues, but
yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you for that. And many other issues. Yes.
We can harken it all back to being left-handed for you.
ADD, dyslexic, the whole 9 yards. So Lev Parnas and Igor Fruman was the guy who actually recorded the video. So have you seen the video? Or,
yes.
Okay. What was your opinion? Oh, let's just set this up. Lev and Igor. Both of those people are under indictment.
Right.
And as I told some other people, let's say you went to go and be a client at a law firm. If you walked in and you said, please represent me for X.
Right.
And they went, okay, fine. And they then found out the 19 women had accused you of inappropriate behavior. You'd paid off 2 women while your son was 6 months old. And 6 of the 7 people who used to work for you are in jail, and 1's indicted.
Okay, yeah.
Would you actually represent? Would you take this guy? Of course you wouldn't. That's why I'm saying that.
Yeah.
So now we got 2 more, Igor and Lev, who are Russians or Russians, right?
They're Americans. Yes, Lev Parnas is an American.
But is he originally an American or from?
Yeah. I think he was born in Ukraine.
That's right.
And that's probably why he speaks Ukrainian, or do they speak Russian there?
If you're on the east, which was invaded by Russia, you speak Russian.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, no, but he's an American.
Okay. What about Igor? Do you know about Igor?
That I don't know.
Okay.
Because he hasn't been talking as much.
No. So you saw the video.
Yeah.
When Trump said he didn't know Lev? Didn't know him. I had my photograph taken with him. You had dinner with the guy. What was your take on it when you saw the video?
Well, so, okay, I actually saw a video, but it wasn't a video of them talking. I heard the audio of them talking, and I think the problem, I'm not even going to say what my impression is, because I don't have enough information on that particular, could it have been edited, or could it have been, let's assume it's real.
No. I mean, if you actually watch the video itself.
Yeah. Was it of them 2 talking?
First off, the camera is obviously, this is the part I don't understand. You're with the President of the United States. Somehow someone could walk in and record a camera phone on your camera. Yeah. I mean, does that mean the camera was sticking out of the top of your pocket? I mean, that would have been, if someone was walking around with their camera clearly facing the wrong way, the phone was sticking out of the top of your pocket. No one walks around with their phone sticking out the top of their pocket. So somehow he was able to record video. Anyway, you can see the entire room, and you can see it's for like a dozen people at Trump's hotel, of course, and paid for with taxpayers' money, I'm sure. And you see the president walk in, and you can see him greeting people. Then the part where he's talking to Igor and Lev, and I forget which one was talking the most, the camera sort of pointed at the ceiling.
Okay.
So you can't really, you just have to go by what's being said.
Right.
And basically they go into Igor or Lev, and I forget which one was talking the most, basically saying about the Ukrainian ambassador, United States Ukrainian ambassador.
Right, and I believe that was Lev Parnas. Anyway, but they didn't show him speaking to the president. So the president says,
no, they did.
I don't know who I was talking to. I might not have been talking to him. I said those words, but I could have been talking to...
No, they were having a conversation. You can hear them talking back. It's not like you just hear the president talking. He's like, I could have been talking to Santa Claus.
Right.
No, they're having a conversation. You can literally hear them having a conversation.
Well, I think that Republicans are going to have a guilt-free conscience, because they're going to say, look, obviously this guy is scumbag. He's been indicted.
Of course he's a scumbag.
Why should we trust him?
Well, you shouldn't trust. No, but again, either that or Trump's got terrible taste in people he hangs around with. Because,
I think we have some issues there.
Yeah, because as I said,
and Rudy Giuliani.
Giuliani, yeah. So, but if you get here for the conversation, by the way, it's a whole hour and a half of conversation.
Okay,
you have to. But the segment that's key is when Lev or Igor is talking about the Ukrainian ambassador and how she's a Clinton appointee, how she's siding with Russia against you, Mr. President, how we need to move her out. When I said, he didn't say that. He said something, and then they go on to talk about marijuana. That he wants the president's help to set up a marijuana business in the United States.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, we got the president of the United States talking about someone's basically saying, help me set up a marijuana business, legalize marijuana.
And would you be surprised if that wasn't the first person that came along and said, how do I make this happen? Anyway, so my take on that
give me your take,
is it's nothing new. We knew this.
You think?
We knew that the president fired Ivanovich because he wanted her out of the...
Absolutely.
Because she criticized him, or somebody said she criticized him. We knew this.
And she was standing...
And we've known it since probably the Mueller report, right?
Yes. Now, because you're like one of the few people who actually read the Mueller report.
Yes.
You actually read it, all, how many pages of it. And I'll have to admit I didn't.
Yeah.
Because I rely on you to read the boring stuff.
Yes, it's
my
job.
And to give us the deed. Like to record and watch twice the Democratic debates. So here's the thing, though. I don't believe that this, for people who have made up their minds, is going to, which is obviously quite a few Americans, is going to make a hill of beans difference.
I was going to say, do you know anybody who hasn't made up their mind?
But what it does tell you, though, is certain Republican politicians, they're not stupid. They know. There's no excuse.
Absolutely.
They know.
You know how this show is titled Voice of the Radical Center.
It is. It is Voice Radical Center, yeah.
And I don't know if independent actually means center.
Oh, so we're going off topic. We're going off topic.
We're going
now?
off topic. No, I'm saying
this?
You say there's 42% of Americans who are independent.
They identify as independent.
They identify as independent.
Yeah.
I'm getting at, I can't think of one person I know that isn't on one side of this or the other. There is no
you're talking. So you're saying
impeachment.
So you're saying in this case on the impeachment.
Yeah.
Well, 50% of Americans, last time I checked, this.
It's very divided.
Yeah, but it's the wrong question.
Okay, yeah.
Don't
and
you
that
think?
matters too.
Because I think the question they ask is, should the president be impeached and removed from office? And 50% say yes. I guess 4% don't know, and 46% say no, he should not be removed from office. The question should be, should he be impeached and removed from office, or should he just be impeached? And that should be...
even censured should be in there.
Yeah, censured. So it's because it's kind of a radical step.
Because could the Republicans censure a Republican?
Yeah, of course they can.
I know they can, but would they?
No.
Because if everything's perfect, why would they?
No, everything's perfect. So
I'm asking you, do you know anybody who can't decide? They're waiting for the trial to complete before they make up their mind whether...
That's a good question.
...to impeach Donald
To be
Trump
honest...
or not.
As we sit here today, it's only been going on since Wednesday, right? So it's not even a week. So I haven't had a chance to speak to anybody yet.
Right, but I would say that there's 100%. No, but maybe we should just go out with our tape recorder and find some people and ask them. But I would be willing to bet that 100% of the people have their mind made up.
Oh, well, let me ask you then. Okay.
Nobody's waiting. Republicans had their mind made up.
Oh, yeah.
4 months ago.
They did. So what do you think?
I think the Republicans are absolutely brilliant in their marketing, saying that the Democrats want to take your vote away from the election of 2016 or 2018.
Well, you could have said that about Clinton in 1999, right? 98. I mean,
that's what an impeachment is. But they're making it sound like the Democrats, they didn't want Donald Trump here in the first place. And all they've been doing ever since he got elected is trying to take away your vote.
He said that Donald Trump does it to himself.
It was brilliant.
So let me ask you this question. Okay, so let's change the question. So the question for you, Jackie Nowak, is, should Donald Trump be impeached? Well, he's been impeached and removed from office. Should he just be impeached and maybe censured, or should he's been impeached, and should that ever have happened? What is your answer there?
I think he should be impeached.
Yeah.
I think we should have an actual trial with actual witnesses and evidence, and then decide if he should be removed from office. Because I have a feeling everybody knows that are in the political arena, more so than we do, that if you brought in witnesses, which is why they won't bring in witnesses, a lot of information could come out. So
what's your answer?
I'm saying definitely impeached and very likely removed from office.
Really? I'm going to disagree with you.
Okay.
I think that he should be impeached. I don't think he should be removed from office, just for the sake of the country, from a divisive point of view.
So what would it take for a president to be removed from office for you?
I think if we hypothetically, if we know we had at least two meetings with Putin, the Helsinki without anybody there except his note taker.
No, he did not have a note taker in one of them.
Right, on one of them he did,
Yeah.
and then he had a meeting with the foreign secretary from Russia in his office with no one there. If it came out there's recordings in those sessions.
So it would take a recording for you.
Yeah.
First-hand evidence of something.
To remove him from office.
A Nixon could get caught, but a Trump would never, because he's not stupid enough to have recordings of anything.
But apparently he is, because some guy was walking around at a Trump hotel at a dinner of 18 or 12 people, and no one noticed. Somehow this guy had a cell phone with the camera that could actually view what was going on.
Well,
how's that even happen?
Well, because I could walk around with my cell phone in my hand.
Oh, maybe he just had it in his hand. He was pretending like he's
course.
walking around with it. It wasn't sticking out of his top pocket or something.
Right, and I could have it on recording this conversation right here. It's just sitting here by my laptop, and I can record us.
Yeah.
In any situation. That's what you can't take away, and that's why the skiff, they don't let people go in there with their cell phones, because
Can you explain what the skiff is to a lot of people? Because I'm nerdy enough to know what the skiff is.
It's the basement where the Democrats held all of these secret meetings where only Democrats and Republicans from certain committees could be
Exactly. Exactly.
for the impeachment.
Because it's in the basement. It's way down in the Capitol.
And it's in the basement for security
for a reason. Yeah. Okay. All right. So now that we do have... See, the part that got me, originally they said on this Lev Parnas thing that that it was audio.
Yeah.
Now we come to find out
there's more video.
It's actually video, and it's an hour and a half or maybe an hour and 15 minutes long. They never mentioned video. Now they're saying, did you hear this part?
Okay.
There's more recordings.
And
but here's and we don't know what they'll say yet, but here's the thing. Donald Trump surrounds himself with people who felt they could manipulate him by talking about that she wasn't a Clinton employee. And then these people were ballsy enough to go in and record the President of the United States.
Yeah.
That didn't even happen with George Bush. It didn't happen with Clinton. It didn't happen with Reagan. It didn't happen with Obama. Yet somehow these people had the audacity to record, whether I agree with him or not, I'll stand up for the President in this case, our President of the United States, because they felt confident enough that they could get away with it.
Or maybe that was their insurance policy.
See, that's another
the other side of it. And don't be surprised if one person has done it. There could be recordings all over the place.
Now, given all that, right?
Yes.
Talking about the impeachment, you talked witnesses.
Right.
So John Bolton could be called as a witness, but no one's preventing him from standing up and making a press conference.
See, that's the part.
If you're a true patriot, John, Mr. Bolton, shouldn't that's what you'd be doing?
I thought that he was under some obligation to not speak. And originally, Trump did send letters to...
No, you can't prevent him from standing up and making a speech.
Exactly. He was prevented from testifying in the House impeachment.
Yes.
And so this is some other stuff that I think you might be interested in, because I don't know if you're aware of it or not. So if you defy a subpoena in the House, it's really not that big of a deal. I mean,
lots of people did.
Lots of people did, and they don't come after you. If you defy a subpoena in the Senate, you will be arrested.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That is why they are not issuing subpoenas.
Well, because
you can get up there, of course, and take the fifth, but you better show up, or they're
they're not
show up
issuing
at your house and bring
subpoenas
you
because
there.
Mitch McConnell won't do it.
Correct.
But there's nothing to stop, just to say, John Bolton and others from
if
standing
Lev Parnas
up.
is doing a press conference or a meeting with and doing some sort of interview, he could do it as
Absolutely. But you know why he's not? Do you want to know why? I can tell you
well. Okay,
exactly.
tell me why.
It's called $2 million.
His book deal?
His book deal.
Well, I think that's a real shame.
I know, isn't it?
I think
so we know
people
John Bolton's price is $2 million.
Well, he's actually said if he were subpoenaed, he would.
Oh, come on.
He would
That's
go.
ridiculous. Of course, yeah, if he has no choice, he's going to go to jail. You just explained
Exactly.
it. If he gets a subpoena from the Senate, he has no choice. He's going to go to jail if he doesn't show up. So
Right.
that's not like being brave. I'm like doing what I'm told to do. I have to, otherwise they're going to arrest me. He could do it right now if he wanted to. No one's preventing him.
As long as he doesn't give away any national security
Correct.
secrets.
He could stand
Absolutely.
exactly. He can. He's not because he's not going to be behind closed doors. He could literally stand up. Right. I'm not putting words in his mouth. I don't know what he would say, but if he feels
Right.
strongly enough, he could stand up and say, hypothetically, President Trump is unfit for office. Here's what I've seen him do. I cannot give you any more detail.
And then
then
the
leave.
Senate would be
And then leave.
obligated.
And then the
to
Senate,
bring
and
it
then
in.
leave. Thank you. No questions. 10 minutes. I'm out of here. Or he could say the exact opposite.
Right.
Stand up in front of the
And
public.
say, I have nothing more to add to the conversation.
I have nothing more to add to the
I
conversation.
didn't see anything
Correct.
irregular. Yeah.
Exactly. He's choosing not to do that. And I don't want to hear any more about people claiming to be patriots. When you
Yeah.
want to be a patriot, you have to stand up and do something. Now, not to say, again, he might be a patriot and stand up and support the president.
Right. Well, it's interesting. Republicans are saying, yes, Democrats think they want witnesses, but they don't know what they're going to say. You may not want, I don't think they know what they want.
Well, then-
they don't want Hunter Biden and Joe Biden to come out and testify. They don't want John Bolton, because chances are he's just going to say he doesn't know.
Well, if that's true,
Or
Mitch
say-
McConnell, invite him on down.
Exactly.
You might get her. As I said, Bolton might come along and say, "I didn't see anything."
Okay, what do you think about bringing in Joe and Hunter
I
Biden?
think that's idiotic. It's like
Well,
head fake.
but you know what? I say call him on it. Say, yeah, you know what? That is a great idea. Let's bring in Joe. Let's bring in Hunter. We'll put them on the stands. We'll do that if you give us John Bolton and Mick Mulvaney.
Mick Mulvaney. Absolutely.
Give us those two.
Hey,
We'll give you
and
those
Lev-
two.
and Lev,
And Lev Parnas.
Les Parnas and Igor.
Well,
yeah,
see,
bring them both
the
in.
problem with those guys,
Well, they're under
right? They don't
indictment.
come out as credible, so we
No.
don't even want them. I think he's doing a darn good job of getting the conversation
Sure
going.
is.
But we don't even need them. If we can get Mick Mulvaney and John Bolton under oath, that would go a long way.
What was Mulvaney's title? What was he? He was,
Was
the Secretary of
acting-
State or something. What was he? I forget. I'm asking you all these
I
questions.
think he was great. I don't know.
I'm asking. Go ahead. That's why you have your massive, the world's biggest laptop in front of you. Well, it is. It's huge. You must weigh like 20 pounds.
So he is Cabinet Director of the Office of Management and Budget. There we go. And he's the White House Chief of Staff.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I knew it had something to do with
But
money.
he
That's
was
why I
with
said
the
commerce. Yes.
right.
Right. Okay.
Because he's the one who.
So
helped
let me
hold
ask you.
that.
So here's the other thing that's really of interest to me on this impeachment.
Okay.
Remember, there was going to be over really quickly. That's what.
Yeah.
McConnell
It was 2 hours on Saturday. That wasn't quick enough for you?
No.
Okay.
I'm talking about the entire process.
Yeah,
Remember,
it's
they
gonna
wanted
go
it
quick.
They wanted it to be over, but it's been going on. When's it supposed to wrap up?
This week, like Wednesday.
Right. So that's
it may
a
even
week.
wrap up Tuesday.
So that's 7
They're
days.
not going to
though.
use all their time.
That's 7 days. Is my point. It's not quick. 48 hours is quick. This is 7 days.
Well, so each side was supposed to get 24 hours of. It's not testimony, so it's just
Yeah.
talking. And the Republicans have already said they're not going to use theirs.
Okay,
They
so-
only used 2 hours on Saturday. They're going to come out on Monday for a couple hours, Tuesday a couple hours, and they're calling it a wrap.
So this is by the way, I know this is why you do it too. Why I started the Voice to Radical Center. It's the utter hypocrisy
It is.
of all this. So let me ask.
Because are they representing the Republican Party?
Or their people, their
Or
constituents.
supposedly their constituents or their
Actually,
own selves?
Actually, I would say they would tell you that, especially people like Lindsey Graham,
Mm-hmm.
they're representing their constituents because they're very vocal. They call up about this.
I think
they want
honestly,
him to stand with the president.
I think
That's what I think his
that
justification is.
we might as well only have one senator in the whole United States, because apparently whatever Mitch McConnell says
He's a shrewd guy.
Goes.
Yeah, you can't
so
ignore him.
you don't get to use your own discerning powers. I know that so Democrats, it's just wishful thinking that they could get some Republicans on board.
No. I think from their point of view, they didn't. I think they knew he was never going to be removed from office. But
no, I'm just talking about. So they needed 4 Republicans in order to get witnesses.
Oh, witnesses.
I think it was very naive to think that they could even get. So we just need Democrats needed 4 Republicans to break ranks in order to get witnesses, but they needed 20 to break ranks in order to actually impeach in the Senate.
So I think what the Democrats were trying to do, what Devin Nunes was trying to do.
Well, he's a Republican.
No, not Devin Nunes. Who's the guy that did a lot of the speaking?
It's Schiff.
Oh, sorry, Adam Schiff.
Adam Schiff.
Yes, sorry, Adam Schiff. Yeah, not Devin Nunes. I apologize. Adam Schiff. I think they were just trying to. They knew they weren't going to get 4 people.
I think they were hopeful.
They might have thought,
Yeah.
but their main reason for going forward was to keep making the point, keep
that,
beating.
Yeah, that we're not hearing the full story.
Correct.
And the Republicans want you to go, listen, it's they haven't shown us anything new. And we haven't heard anybody who knows anything. So why are we even doing this? At the same time, they're preventing us from hearing anything new.
Right.
And they're preventing anybody from.
So I think that's why
having
Devin Nunes, I keep saying Devin Nunes, Adam Schiff. That's why I think they actually felt they had to make that case, to make that point. Did you watch Adam Schiff? Did you?
Yes.
What was your?
Yeah, he was good.
I've heard that. I've watched bits of it.
He told a nice story. He explained it in detail. All of
and he was
the
calm.
managers.
He was calm. He wasn't waving his arms around.
Crazy, which he has, gone off the rails a little bit at times. Yeah, when he started, there was no reason for it, but he told a story as if it were. He kind of just embellished a story about Trump and said over the top.
So don't you think that's a double standard, that the Republicans can say things that are OTT, over the top, and yet the second the Democrats do it, people call them on it because they're supposed to be superior or more intellectual, or they don't.
Exactly.
I find that kind of silly. But he apparently, from people that have watched it, more than I have.
It was good. Yeah.
He was really, really good.
Yeah, they made their point over and over again. But if you're blocking any information, you're blocking facts, or you don't want to hear that perspective, you're not going to be persuaded.
Well, when you have people drinking, playing with their fidget things in the Senate, sitting in there, people from the Republican side.
I'll be honest, I wouldn't want to sit there for 12 hours hearing even something, but it's an important job. And if you listen with an open mind, then, you've got to
listen,
be
if I'm in a jury,
and hey, I've been on 2 juries.
Oh, you have?
Yes.
Oh, I've never
been
on
juries.
Right. So if you're picked for a jury, or if you're on trial, or if you're suing someone, or something's happening, you want to hope that no matter who those individuals are, from whatever jury pool they come from, that they take that job seriously.
Yes.
And you would like to think that even though they're from the same party, and even if they think they've made their minds up, that they would at least have the respect of the institution to take it seriously.
Yes.
And that's that.
Because I can tell you the 2 juries that I have been on.
Yes.
All 12 people were dedicated. They were like, we can only, we had specific instructions that we had to follow.
You did picked on 2? You were picked for 2?
Yes.
Wow, I haven't even picked for 1. I want to go. I've never been picked.
It was fascinating, but it was also.
And how long did they go for? How long?
A week.
Wow, so that's a real trial.
Those were real trials, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
We'll get into that another time.
Yeah, that's a whole other topic. Yes.
But back to the witnesses.
God, you must be more credible than me because I never get picked.
Yeah. Well, when you're like number 6, you go, I know I'm getting picked, and I knew I was.
Okay.
There's no. If you're like number 89,
I was 89.
You're like going,
72.
hey, all right, I'm going home.
Okay, all right.
But it was fascinating. I was happy to do it.
All right.
But back to the witnesses.
Yes.
I found out a little bit more. Not that I'm going to say he's the most credible person about Hunter Biden.
Oh yes, tell me.
Did you know that he's an attorney?
No.
And did you know that he's a lobbyist?
No, but that doesn't surprise me either.
And the reason he was put into Burisma was for their...
So he says.
Well, it was... You're right, because I found it probably someplace very
paying
credible.
Paying $600,000 a year or something insane.
It was 50,000 a month. Yeah.
I'm
so
right.
600,000. Yeah. So the reason he was brought into Burisma was, let's see if it's written right here. Basically, it was as an advisor on the legal aspects of their business.
That doesn't make sense.
But he's an attorney,
advising
so
them on laws in the Ukraine. That doesn't make sense.
I don't know if it has anything to do, but he was a consultant. He could have been advising him on American laws if they want to do business in America, for all we know, right?
Yeah, but we know he was brought in because he was Joe Biden's son.
Yeah.
We know that.
And I'm assuming every politician's son.
But it's tone deaf. Your dad's running for, your dad's going to run to be president of the United States. You know he ran before against Hillary Clinton and lost.
Yeah.
It's tone deaf. Dad should have said to...
Well, he started doing it in 2014. He got the job in 2014.
Oh, really? Well, he should have told. Dad should have told his son.
But he stayed all the way through
Just
until
quit.
this blew
You
up.
can't do it. You got to get out of there.
But at the same time, would you tell your son to quit a job that paid $50,000 a month?
If I was running for president and all this nonsense was going on in the background, absolutely, I would tell my son.
Well, as soon as all the nonsense came out, they sure did. I don't know if he quit.
No,
I'm
just talking in general that you don't know what's going to break.
But if he's a lobbyist and he's an attorney, and his dad's a politician, I'd be willing to bet we could find some more examples.
Oh, no,
I
actually have no doubt. I have absolutely no doubt. All I'm saying is it was tone deaf of the Bidens in general, both mom, dad, and son, to let their son stay there.
But see, I think that's where their mistake is, because I don't think it's all that absurd. I think they should own it just like Trump would own it. Go, my son got a job making $50,000 a month. You want me to tell him to quit it? Who in this world would tell his son to quit it? Your son gets that kind of job, you're going to tell him to quit it?
Actually, that's what they should do.
That's exactly.
You're absolutely right. Embrace it.
Yeah.
Embrace it.
Because that's what Trump does.
Yes, embrace it. Because you know what? It actually sounds more credible that way.
It's truly credible. Who couldn't relate to that?
He was advising them, I'm making this up, he's on American law. And he's
a lawyer. He does have expertise. And he has yes. The right has plagued him, or has pegged him as not knowing anything about that business of gas, or well, he might not.
No, but he knows the law, supposedly.
But he knows laws if he's an attorney.
So we're running out of runway.
Yes.
So let me ask you this question.
How can I help?
Is just getting back to the impeachment thing. We know about Lev Parnas. I think this is going to get much bigger. Along with Igor.
It may be too late by the time it all comes out.
No, it's because it's just one thing after another. I mean, how much smoke do you need? So my question is on the impeachment, because we like to focus on this.
Yeah.
Do you think this is helping America or not helping America?
Honestly, okay. So an impeachment is never going to help America.
You think? Maybe.
No,
why?
It's dividing us even deeper than we were divided.
Because, it's interesting. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
People have made up their minds.
Okay.
This has been my experience. Okay. I don't believe that anybody's on the fence on this one. And the only thing it's helping is Donald Trump. I think that there's a good chance he'll get reelected.
You honestly think so?
I do.
Wow.
And I'm believing it more and more as...
Why?
Because the Republicans are in lockstep and they're not budging.
That's this is why. Now you have to believe me when I told you 4 months ago on the radio show, the Democrats screw this up when they have their primaries or their election for the Democratic nominee this close to the election. If they had done it a year ago, then you have one guy, Biden or Bernie, and if they screw up, and he'd have plenty of time to hone his message against Trump, and if he didn't do it, you replace him with the runner-up or someone else. By doing it now, you're airing their dirty laundry. We just spoke about some. Getting rid of maybe health care for all, but no private health insurance. Maybe paying off all college debt.
But, okay, so you keep mentioning that.
I do.
And I'm going to harass you one more time going, this is the way we do it. I don't know that's fixable at this point. So then we got to work within what we've got.
So why do you think Trump's going to win then? Is it because he's going to win because people think he deserves it, or because the Democrats lose? Because he's going to come out and say,
what do you think he's going to say? He's going to say...
Bernie's a socialist.
He's going to say Bernie's a socialist if he's the nominee.
He's saying it now.
He's going to say Biden's a criminal if he's the nominee. He's going to say, I've been exonerated by Mueller. I've been exonerated by the Senate.
Yes.
I've done nothing wrong. It's all been perfect. And look at this economy.
Yes. Do you think that, but given that 50% of the, so here's the, can I tell you why he's not going to be elected?
Okay.
I'll play the other side of the coin.
Oh my goodness, this is being recorded. Do tell me.
Because the economy, we all agree, is doing well, even though tax cuts for the middle class were non-existent and they've been eaten up by tariffs. That we give a disproportionate tax cuts to the very wealthy, the top 5%, and the corporations.
And that's what Bernie or Elizabeth would fix.
Right. So the economy is doing well, but it's doing well under Obama, although my Republican friends would never admit that. I'm an independent. I'm just pointing out the facts, what happened under Obama. Now, the reason I don't think he's going to be re-elected, is because even though the economy is going gangbusters, by rights, his approval rating should be high 60s, low 70 percentage points. You're never going to get really super high, right, unless you're at war or something. So his approval rating's 42%. Clinton's was 70% after he was impeached.
I don't think
that's why I
would want to know what his approval rating was before he got elected.
63%.
So
I'm sorry. Sorry, Clinton's or
Trump before his election.
44. Oh, before his election? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know before his election.
I think the same people who voted in the same areas. I know that America is on overload with all the nonsense, but they think that the Democrats are making something out of nothing. I don't know. I just have
42% approval rating in an economy that's booming.
And it would take, just the right thing.
It should be 70%, Jackie.
He might lose the popular vote again, and that might crush him, but I think he could still.
All right, well, we
We'll
will hopefully be doing the show come November.
There you go.
And certainly hopefully on Amazon. That's going to be.
It'll be interesting.
We're a little. I'm just saying we're a little bit nervous about the Amazon show.
Oh, I was more nervous about the election. What do you?
No, I'm not nervous about being in front of a live audience, but this is a big thing, right? We'll do the show with Amazon in front of a live audience with guests.
Yes.
Be
on our A game.
We have to be on our A game. So anything before we sign off? Anything?
So this is just all practice here.
yes. We're working
Gearing up. We're working the kinks out now.
The video aspects and everything.
Yeah.
So hopefully you enjoyed. And you can roll. You want to give them your email, Jackie? Go ahead. I don't want to give them mine.
Yes, it's.
Did you set it up yet? You didn't set your email up, did you?
Of course I did.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. I haven't set mine up yet, so go ahead.
It's Jackie at votrc.com. I've been
Jackie at VOT's voiceoftheradicalcenter.com, but votrc.com.
Yeah.
And I don't have mine set up, so they can't write hate mail to me. Carl, you can't write hate mail to me anymore, and you've got to be very polite to this very nice lady right here.
There you go.
All right, so we'll see you next week. Please, you can comment assuming this gets up on YouTube, you can comment and you can write to Jackie, although not to me. I want to thank you for watching, and we'll be back very, very soon.
Sounds good.
Sounds great.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.